Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to be making cheeseburger egg rolls. So let's get started. So here are some of my ingredients. I'm using 1.5 pounds of ground beef, a medium yellow onion, Worcester sauce, seasoned salt, Goya all-purpose seasoning, diced pickles, diced jalapeños, diced onions and green peppers, garlic powders, and other ingredients. So the first thing we're going to do is actually wash our meat. You guys know how in the Caribbean we always wash our meat no matter what it is. So I'm going to just put some vinegar over this quickly and wash it off camera. Next, over a large skillet, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of vegetable oil and then add my chopped onions as well as my chopped green peppers. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my ground beef to the pan, and then I'm going to let that sear for a little bit, and then we're going to break it up into smaller pieces and then add our powdered seasoning. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add my chopped jalapeno. As you can see in the next clip, my beef is now brown. It's not completely pink, so I can go ahead and add my powdered seasoning as well as my pickles and jalapenos. So I just added my jalapenos, and I'm going to go ahead and add my chopped pickles as well. If you want this dish to be more spicy, you can go ahead and add fresh jalapenos. However, I'm not a fan of spicy food, so I went ahead with the canned jalapenos. Next, I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then after that, I'm going to go in with my Worcester sauce. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add my Goya all-purpose seasoning. You guys know how I feel about this seasoning. I absolutely love it. It's lightweight, it's not a strong flavored seasoning, and it gets the job done. Now, you guys know about my bottles. Please don't laugh at me in the comment section, but this is garlic powder. As you can see, there's a G on it. So after I've added my garlic powder, I'm going to go ahead with my Grace black peppered seasoning, and then I'm going to add a tablespoon of onion powder. For this step, you want to put your flame on medium to low heat because you want your beef to actually cook. So I'm going to go ahead and take my spatula and just give everything a quick mix because I want all of my ingredients to be evenly distributed. And then I'm going to let this cook uncovered for 30 to 45 minutes. Now for this step, you can actually get your egg roll wrappers at the supermarket. However, I was having a very hard time getting this in Jamaica, so I decided to make my egg roll wrappers from scratch. So here I have 2 cups of flour. Then I'm going to add 1/8 cup of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a large egg beaten or whisked. Then you want to put aside 1/2 cup of ice cold water. Now for this step, you're not going to sift your flour like I've done in other recipes. You're just going to mix it up, or you can take your hand and begin to knead it. Now, the reason why I said 1/2 cup of ice cold water, you don't want to add all of this at once. You guys know I've taught you in the past with dough, you want to add your water gradually, mix, add a little bit more water, mix again, and then you add a little bit more water. What you're aiming for in this recipe is a very tight tight dough. So you're gonna go ahead and knead that up. I did this with my spatula first because I have long nails, so I didn't want the flour to get under my fingernails. So I waited until the dough began to come together, then I put my hand in there and I started to knead. Okay guys, so now that I've finished kneading, you want your dough to rest for 30 minutes. Then you're gonna go back and knead it briefly for an additional 5 minutes, and then you begin to cut it in half. I cut mine in 4 parts actually. I did not leave it like this. So I went ahead and wrapped the part that I'm not using in a plastic wrap, and then I set it aside. Now we're gonna go ahead and knead our flour with a rolling pin and then flatten it out because we're gonna start to make our wrappers. If it's your first time doing something like this, feel free to heat your oil after so that your oil doesn't burn, but I had my skillet on low heat waiting for me. You're gonna take a slice of American cheese. You can use whatever cheese you prefer, but I use the Kraft American sliced cheese. You're gonna put that in the middle, and if you guys notice, I cut my dough into a square. This should be a very thin layer, but then after that you're gonna add your beef. With the beef, there's a technique that I did. I actually put my beef into a long shape, like a rectangular shape, because it's gonna make it easier to roll. However, for this step, I'm gonna show you guys what not to do because this was my first time making this recipe, and so I should have cut my squares a little bit more on the rectangular side, but don't worry, I'll show you guys what not to do, and then I'm gonna show you guys how I got it right the second time around. So I'm adding my beef. You're gonna make this into a shape like what you're seeing me do with the spoon, and then once you're done doing that, you're gonna go ahead and begin rolling. Now for this final step, you're going to take some ice water and seal the ends of the square. So just take your finger and rub it along the edges, and then you're going to start folding. Mind you guys, your cutting board should have been dusted so that your egg roll wrappers do not stick to the board. After that, it should be very easy to lift off. You shouldn't have any problems. If your egg roll wrappers are sticking, it means that your cutting board was not floured properly. Okay guys, so here's what you're not supposed to do, right? I originally took my sides first, and then I tucked it, and then I did my top there, which you're seeing me doing on camera, and then I took my bottom and I lifted it towards the egg roll wrapper. Now you don't want to do that because it's not going to fold properly, but since we're gonna be eating this anyway, I just continued and I fried this set, but I'm gonna show you guys how I did the second set completely different. So if you realize, because of the technique that I did, it wasn't a slender egg roll. It was more like of a hot pocket shape. It was very wide, very rectangular. My next egg roll is gonna be a lot more skinny, a lot more sexy. And here you can see I actually cut my squares into longer rectangles. So for this one, if you noticed, I started by taking the top corner, rolling it over, taking my sides, tucking that in there, and then I rolled towards the end. I did not bring the end towards the roll. So let me do that again. I'm gonna take my top, take my sides, tuck that beef in there. Don't be afraid to get in there and tuck it. And then I'm gonna take my other side, fold, and kind of tuck it and roll and tuck it some more and roll. You don't need to take the end and bring towards the wrapper because you're not gonna get that tucking technique that I just did on camera. So these look a lot better. I'm gonna put these in the skillet. Guys, these do not take long to fry. It takes about 2 to 4 minutes. So you guys know this is cheeseburger egg rolls, and you don't have a good burger without your sauce. So here I have a 1/4 cup of mayo, 1/4 cup of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of paprika, some garlic powder, onion powder, jalapeno juice, and also pickle juice. I'm gonna go ahead and add my paprika to my bowl. Then after that, I'm gonna go in with my mayonnaise. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and add my ketchup, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add my pickle juice and jalapeno juice. Now for the part with the juices, you can gauge it however you want to. I did not want a strong jalapeno flavor, so I went ahead and added 2 tablespoons of the pickle juice and 1.5 tablespoons of the jalapeno juice, and then I went in with my onion powder. For this step, you can mix it up with a fork or a whisk. I used my spatula because it's what I had close to me. And then once you're done mixing, you can actually put this in a sauce bottle to actually spray over the cheeseburger egg rolls. But I do not have a sauce bottle, unfortunately, so I just kept it in a bowl. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and start my plating. You guys know I'm big on presentation. You want to use a bread knife to cut these egg rolls. It's the best knife to use. Don't use the other blades because it's gonna be a lot more difficult to cut through the egg roll wraps. So once I cut these, you guys are gonna see the delicious melted yummy cheese. Oh my god, look at that cheese, look at that beef, look at those pickles. Guys, it tasted just like a cheeseburger. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate these and put them all around my dish, and then I'm gonna put my sauce in the middle. Guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. This recipe is definitely top tier in my book. Look at that delicious cheese, guys. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this video. After I plate these, I'm gonna go ahead and put my sauce in the middle into my small sauce dish. Guys, look at how delicious this was. This was an absolute banger, trust me. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you try this recipe, let me know in the comments section, and like I said, don't forget to subscribe for more recipes like this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.